People is proud to present the 40 Days 40 Fintechs, an initiative under its Include Everyone program, which is leading the way in advocating for technology that promotes financial inclusivity. Since 2020, we've profiled over 100 fintechs, and our latest season is shining a spotlight on those breaking down digital barriers and transforming lives for the better. Join us in this financial inclusivity revolution, presented with generous support from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Follow hashtag 40 Days 40 Fintechs, hashtag Level 1 Project to learn more and get involved in creating a brighter financial future for all.
The 4 Days for the Fintechs initiative continues to shine a spotlight on entrepreneurs that are innovatively using technology to serve the unserved and underserved Ugandans and Africans. On day 16 of the annual 4 Days for the Fintechs initiative, Season 5, we are very glad to have a representative from Zimba Technologies. Isaac, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Very well. Yes, kindly introduce yourself and what you do at Zimba Technologies.
My name's Isaac Wary, so I'm the founder and CEO of Zimba Technologies. And what we do at Zimba is we build core banking solutions for financial institutions with a primary focus on SACCOs and microfinances.
Yes, maybe for those that don't know Zimba, give them a detailed background. When did you start Zimba? Why did you start it? How did you start it?
I think I can't explain the origins of Zimba without telling my personal story. So I come from the eastern part of Uganda, just outside of Mbale. And, when I was young, I just remember the struggles that my family went through. So long story short, by the age of 7, I lost both of my parents. And so, right. And, I remember my uncle was responsible for providing for my siblings and I. And he was unable to access the capital to expand our family farm. And so though I don't remember all the details, I do remember those struggles. Fortunately, things worked out for my siblings and I. We were adopted by American missionaries, and that's how I ended up in the U.S. But I never forgot, those experiences as a young kid. And then also I had a sister that ended up staying in Uganda. And when I came back to visit for the first time after 12 years, I helped her start a business, and same thing, issues accessing capital. And so that was a recurring theme. And so when I decided that I wanted to come back to Uganda to build a business here, I wanted to do something within that space because of the experiences that I had, the issues that family and friends encountered in starting businesses. And I knew that SACCOs and microfinances really play an important role, especially for the low-income earners, the bottom of the pyramid. They're extremely important in providing them access to capital, but I think they can do it much better with having better platforms and having, leveraging technology to help them with managing their operations, managing their client information, their loans, accounting, all of those things. So that was really the genesis of Zimba, was wanting to solve that problem.
Yes, thank you, Isaac, for that detailed explanation of how Zimba came about. So now that we know the story, quite a very touching story, what exactly did you set out to do when you launched Zimba?
We did some initial pilots because we spent a lot of time trying to understand the problem within this space. So we spoke to a lot of SACCOs, we spoke to a lot of microfinances, money lenders, and the consistent issue that we saw, and some of the stories that I would hear are just crazy in the sense that you have an institution that's serving tens of thousands of people in some instances, and they're still using pen and paper to keep track of their books. They're using Excel, and there's so many issues that come about because of that. There was one individual that I remember speaking to. He had a very successful microfinance that he started with his partners. They got into a fight. One of them took the books and hid them. The business was completely crippled at that point. Nobody knew who was who. Nobody knew how much money people owed. And so they came to us and they're like, please help us, because now the business can't operate simply because of something like that. And when you hear about the fraud that's prevalent, the errors in the books, you just know that there's a better way of doing things. And so the solution that we've put together does just that. It allows the institutions to be able to handle all of their operations. So, because our goal is to have a end-to-end solution. So from managing client data to managing loans, deposits, shareholders, and at the center of it is an accounting system where they can keep track of all their books. And in order to provide an overall experience for everybody involved in the process, we've also developed a mobile application specifically for the end borrowers, because a lot of them have to go do transactions in person. They have to apply for loans in person. So all of these things that are extremely time consuming. So there's a mobile application that allows them to have access to their information. They can apply for loans. They can check their statements. And we also have a blockchain-based wallet through a partnership with another fintech that handles all of the cashless payments. So now if they want to transact using mobile money or their bank accounts, or if they want to go and transact at any of the agency banking points that we will find around town, it gives them the freedom to do that and to be able to do it at any point in time as well.
Yes, pardon me if I didn't get you right. For how long have you been doing this with Zimba, and like how many customers are you serving? B2B customers to start with.
We started building the product in like the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. So we really took our time building the product, and we wanted to do it with a few clients initially so we could really tailor the product towards their needs. And so we spent about a year and a half building the product, building it, rebuilding it, just iterating until we felt comfortable with it. And we officially launched in November of last year, and we now have nearly 70 institutions that are using the platform. So we've gotten some really good feedback.
Yes, now those 17 platforms, like how many end users do they serve? Because I think that will explain how impactful your technology is.
Right now, there's it's about 80,000 end users that the 70 institutions that we're serving are providing
Are these
services
financial
to.
institutions?
Yes, these are financial institutions.
All right. So let us imagine I'm a business and I want to use the Zimba Technology services. Take me through step by step. How do I access Zimba Technology? How do I get to start using your services? And how do I use them? Let us assume I'm a small circle in Sironko district, which neighbors Mbale, where you come from.
It's actually very simple. Since it's a cloud-based solution, there's really not a whole lot when it comes to actually using the product. But the first step is getting in touch with us. So there's several ways of doing that. One, you can always come and see us at our offices in Ntinda. We're located in a Seri complex, and so you can always come see us physically. You can find us online as well. So we have a decent online presence. Our website is www.zimba.io. So you can always go on there. You can find our contact information. You can send us an email. You can call us. You can fill out the form on the website, and we will reach out to you. But after you've gotten a hold of us, the next step is usually to give you a demo of the product that we have. So after that demo, then we can begin that process. If you're interested, then we can begin the process of onboarding you. But if you're hesitant, then we also offer a free demo that you can use for 2 weeks or a month, because we really believe in the product that we have, and we don't want our clients to feel like they're investing into something that they're not sure it'll meet their needs. So we'll walk with them through that entire process of helping them set up their demo account so that the product can be, so that they can test the product for themselves. But after they've come to the conclusion that they want to use a solution, then we'll schedule the onboarding process. We'll assist them with the data migration as well, and we do have a built-in data importer in our system just to expedite the onboarding process. And then of course we will also send our team to train and to make sure that the staff is fully comfortable with the system. And and the support is always there, because I feel like that's something that's often missing. You can have the best solution in the world, but if the people that you're providing the solution to don't fully understand how to utilize it, then then that's the problem. So we're always offering constant support as we come out with new features. We'll go and do retrainings in some instances if it's necessary. But we want to make sure that the product is always, the client is always familiar with the product that we have.
Yeah, quite impressive, Isaac. Make me understand. For the few months you have been fully operational, what main challenges have you encountered in rolling out this fintech tailored solution?
There's several challenges, but I would say the biggest one is probably in mindset. I think technology is something that is relatively new to the space, and sometimes trying to get people to understand that it's an asset. It's something that you need to invest in, because sometimes there's that disconnect. You might meet an institution, and clearly they have a need for the product, but they get so carried away from like the small details, like I want an extra 50,000 shillings off, or I'd rather go. Maybe you tell them that this solution comes with all these security elements, all of this, and sometimes someone would almost say 50,000 and make themselves more vulnerable to certain things. And so I think there needs to be a mind shift change, and we've seen it. People are starting to embrace technology more and more. I know it's not a process that takes place overnight, but I think we do spend a lot of time also educating the clients on the value of not just having a solution, but also having a quality solution that makes sure that you're protected, that your clients are protected, and all of those things. So that's been a little bit of the challenge, but it's getting better with time.
True. Isaac, your team got in touch with us sometime last year, and we are really interested in taking part in this initiative. At that point, we had actually concluded 4 days for the fintechs. We were doing the Digital and Financial Inclusion Summit. So I told your team to make sure they keep their eyes and ears open for the next entry. And indeed, your team registered for this year. I'm very happy to have you, because at least your team came through. They inquired, we told them what is required, and in fact, they registered for this year. I want to understand, because I saw they were very interested in taking part in this initiative. How do you think the 4 Days for Fintechs initiative is helping the fintech ecosystem? Maybe specifically, how do you think it will help the solutions you are rolling out?
I love the this initiative from High People. 40 days, 40 fintechs. I think it's a great way of showcasing the different solutions that are out there, because that's part of the problem is people sometimes don't know that the problems that they've been having, there's a simple solution that's out there, and you have a lot of talented individuals that have built really innovative solutions. And I think this platform is one way of getting it out there, showing the people what's out there, showing how it's impacting the space, and then just showing the globe as a whole that even in the small country of ours in Uganda, we're doing some pretty innovative stuff. We're solving problems, because whether it's from an investment perspective, trying to bring in investor dollars, nobody's going to know where to invest, where to go, where to find these solutions if there isn't a platform like this one that's showing them and that's interviewing the different parties that are involved, so that they can understand the amazing solutions that are out there. So I think this platform, we really wanted to be a part of it because it's a great initiative. But to really answer the question, I think it'll also help get our product out there. Whenever we participate in events like this, clients will find us through this. I know this reaches a lot of people. They'll reach out to us, different stakeholders, partnerships, all of those things. So we're very excited to have gotten the opportunity to participate.
Glad. Yes, as we wind up, we usually host big, small startups, already established players. But our observation is already established players say the regulatory environment is very good. Startups say the regulatory environment is pro big players and anti startups. Using your experience from the States and Uganda, what do you think needs to be done for the regulatory environment? More so, the rates of the cost of licensing, among other things. What must be done for the regulatory environment to be friendly to everyone, to include everyone?
In my opinion, I think that, well, first of all, the regulators are very important. I think we've seen what happens when regulation isn't there, right? So I want to preface it by saying I do believe in the work that the regulators are doing, and I think it's very important. And I would say that overall, I think the regulators in Uganda are supportive to startups. There's a lot of things that a startup can do here that in the U.S., for example, they can't. And of course, the cost of licenses, I think anywhere that you go, they'll always tell you the cost of licenses are very high. But what I would say is I think it's important for the regulators to understand that a lot of the young startups, especially, it's very difficult for a young startup to attract funding anywhere. But it's easier for them to attract funding in the US, for example. So some of those issues that they have, like acquiring a license, they can raise some money and use that money to acquire that license. But that's difficult to do here. So I think that they can maybe have special, for companies that have a certain size, they can have like a tiered approach to where some licenses are easier to acquire, because there are a few licenses that we looked at getting, for Zimba, but the costs were just pretty high, and it didn't make sense. And it's one of those things sometimes where it's like the cart before the horse type thing, where you need all of these volumes in order to qualify for a certain license, but you need that license, to get the volumes that you need. So I think the regulators can look at some of those things and reduce the hurdles of entry, for small startups, and then once those startups reach a certain size, then the regulators can step in, because that's the beautiful thing about tech startups, is it's often something new that the regulators haven't regulated, and that's what allows them to grow. And so when that regulation comes in too quickly or too early, then that really stunts the growth for the startup.
Yes, Isaac, it has been a pleasure having you. In 2 minutes, face your camera and do a 2-minute speech to a potential investor out there or end user for Zimba Technologies.
My elevator pitch to a customer that is looking for a solution, I would say, if you're tired of having fraud, if you're tired of having inaccuracies in your books, if you're tired of giving your clients not the best experience because everything that they have to do requires them to shut down their business and come and do those things in person, then come and see us, because we can provide a solution that will allow you to be able to create that transparency for your customers. You'll be able to manage all of your operations from a single platform, and most importantly, it will allow you to grow. And then from an investor perspective, I would say that we've really been fully operational for the past 9 months, and since then we have nearly 70 institutions on our platform that are serving 80,000 individuals. We have over or almost 300,000 transactions that are going through our platform on a monthly basis. That equates to about $14 million per month. And so we're growing quickly, and I think that this is an opportunity to be involved in a fintech that is really impacting the local community, but as well as a product that has a lot of potential for growth, as we look to expand beyond the borders and start offering our solutions outside.
Thank you, Isaac, for that, and I really wish you the very best. This has been day 16 of the annual 4 Days for Fintechs Initiative, Season 5. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.